Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Jen and I actually just graduated law school. I graduated from Arizona State University's law school about a week ago, so that's pretty weird to say at this point, but I'll get used to it. I make vlogs. I'm going to be documenting my bar prep and like my young associate experience and all of that, and I vlogged law school as well. But in today's video, I figured I would tell you guys the 5 things I wish I knew before law school, because I now feel qualified to say that. So I'm just gonna go through 5 things I wish I knew, and hopefully this helps incoming 1Ls, maybe even some current law students as well. The first thing's kind of obvious, but there's no substitute for reading. And what I mean by that is that in law school you get cold called, so you're expected to read before class, and then in class they will just randomly call on people about the reading. And you're responsible for pretty much every word that was assigned. Some teachers' cold calls will be easier than others. Some law schools are moving away from cold calls altogether, but a lot of them still use the method, and Arizona State does. So there's just no substitute for reading everything that's assigned. And the only reason I wish I knew this earlier was just because it would have saved me a couple of embarrassing cold calls as a 1L when I had clearly just skimmed it and thought that was good enough. It's not. In some classes it might be, you'll learn that, but as a general rule when you're starting out, there's no substitute for just truly reading everything, taking notes on it, just being prepared for class. And if it keeps you up later than you'd like, you can sleep in on the weekends or on winter break, you'll live, but it's worth it in my opinion at least. I wish I had read really carefully from the start, just to save myself a few embarrassing cold calls where all I did was skim and it was obvious. Okay, the second thing I wish I knew ahead of time is that law school is nothing like undergrad, and it's not really like any other grad programs either. It really is its own category of education. So comparing it to undergrad and trying to draw parallels and stuff, there really aren't many, and so I just wish I had known to treat it as its own thing. And I carried over a few habits from undergrad, like my study habits didn't change that much and things like that, but most everything else did. Like law school's very different, and so don't try to import your undergrad experience into law school. Don't try to import your friends' other grad school experiences into law school. It's really its own thing. I think class functions differently with the cold calling element I was just talking about. Grades function differently. You only get one final as your grade for the whole class, and it's curved against your classmates at most schools. And just the subject matter is really different. In law school, you're gonna need to know everything you learn as a 1L, at least for the bar exam. I'm not saying you'll necessarily use it all when you practice, but you'll use a lot of it. And so it just matters that much more. You're not just sort of phoning it in to get the degree. Whereas in undergrad, I could just sort of like go to class, take notes. I would, you know, study for my tests and hopefully do well on my finals and things like that. But I couldn't tell you one thing I learned in undergrad sitting here years later. So law school's a bit different, and just the subject matter you're learning is a lot more relevant in my opinion, and I don't know, it's just different. So treat it as a totally new experience. Everybody is starting from zero. No one is more prepared than anyone else, even if they've worked in a law firm before. It doesn't really matter. Law school is its own thing. It's sort of like learning to walk, and everyone is starting from zero. So just treat it like that, and I kind of wish I had. I think I was constantly trying to draw parallels between it and my undergrad, and there really aren't that many, so just treat it as a brand new thing. You're starting from scratch. Seriously, you are. Okay, the third thing I wish I knew is just, I wish I had done a little bit more research into maybe what fields interested me. I went into law school with no desired practice area, which is fine. A lot of people do it. But I wish I had at least done a little bit more research to sort of know what I was interested in or what I might want to explore further or something like that, because to just go in totally open to anything and not really passionate about anything, I think it stunted me in 2 ways. First, it gave me, when I was just a 1L and really had no experience and was trying to find jobs, it didn't give interviewers a lot to work with, because I would just be like, oh, I'm open to anything. And while that's great to hear, it doesn't give a lot of, you know, follow-up questions they could ask, or, you know, talking points and things like that. So I think it may have held me back in some interviews, just to be like, I'll do anything. I'm not interested in any particular area. And I feel like if I had just done a little bit more research, I could at least have like a educated answer to that question, even if it ended up changing over time. It's totally fine to change your mind, but I just wish I had done a little bit more research ahead of time. Not necessarily like this is what I'm going to be doing, but just at least this is what I'm interested in or something like that. I literally just went in with no plan, no interest. I was just like, I'm in law school, I'll take any field, and I think that held me back a little. And then the other reason it held me back is because on nights when I was just up till 2 in the morning studying and reading for class and the material was so dry and I was really lacking motivation, I didn't have a very strong why as to why I was even doing it, and it made motivating myself to keep going really hard because I didn't have any interest behind it all or goal or anything I was really working towards. I was just so open-ended that I was just like, I don't know, I didn't have any sort of driving factor to help me keep going, and I think that that stunted me a little bit, and it could have, you know, sometimes when things get really tough, they always say, remember your why. I didn't really have a why. I just went to law school because law in general interested me, and I wish I had done a little bit more research because I bet you I could have found some areas even before school that piqued my interest, and they could have just helped push me a little bit more as I went along because I would have had a why, so to speak. So do some research before you go and just see what's out there. There's tons of resources online. There's even like people on YouTube who are showing you what they do in the legal field and things like that. Just do some research and at least get a good sense of what you're interested in. Like I said, you can change your mind. You're not married to this answer or this like idea that you come up with, but I think it would have helped motivate me and it would have helped me in interviews. So the fourth thing I wish that I knew before I started law school is that your mental health matters all the time, not just when the going gets tough. And that is why I'm so excited to talk to you guys about the sponsor of today's video. Thank you so much to BetterHelp for sponsoring this video. I mean, I'm curious if there's anything in your guys' lives that's interfering with your happiness or you achieving your goals, you know, sort of what that looks like. For me as a 1L, it's exactly what I just said. I would wait until things got absolutely dire before implementing all of these strategies that I think I knew in the back of my mind were helpful and were going to set me up for success, but not the night before my brief was due when I'm crying and all of a sudden I'm super stressed and trying to turn my life around or turn my mental health around. And I think what I wish I knew is that mental health matters all the time and you need to be proactive about it to prevent those, and that's why BetterHelp is truly the perfect partner for this video. I like BetterHelp because they'll assess your needs and match you with a licensed professional therapist, and you can start communicating with that therapist within 48 hours. Okay, let me just spell out the fine print for you guys so you don't miss anything. It's not a crisis line, it's not self-help, it's professional counseling done securely online. They have over 15,000 counselors, which I think is a lot more than you would have available to you just in your local area, which is why I love the online aspect of it. It totally broadens the range of therapists that you can speak with, and it makes them way better able to customize what you need to you. And the services are available worldwide. You can log in at any time and send a message to your counselor. And from there, you'll get a timely, thoughtful response from your counselor. You can even set up weekly video meetings. So like I said, you're being proactive about this and just getting ahead of it before the going gets tough. And unlike old school therapy appointments, you don't have to sit in an uncomfortable waiting room, which is my favorite part. Very convenient and a lot more private. And because BetterHelp is so committed to finding the perfect match for you as far as a counselor, they make it easy and free to change counselors at any time, so you can always switch it up if it's not working for you. BetterHelp is more affordable than traditional offline counseling, and financial aid is available if needed. BetterHelp wants you to start living a happier life today. So if you guys are interested in this, here's the link. It's betterhelp.com/JennMartin. That's BetterHelp.com/JennMartin, and join the over 1 million people taking control of their mental health today with the help of a licensed professional. And a special offer for you guys, anyone who watches my videos, if you use that link, betterhelp.com/JennMartin, you'll get 10% off your first month. So take advantage of it, law school or not, promise it will help you guys. Okay, my fifth and final thing that I wish I knew is just that you will need friends. And I've talked about this in other videos too. I did not do a great job making friends in law school, and it is something that I really wish I had done a better job of. I'm lucky that I found a couple of like great close friends, which have been my saving grace through and through. But in undergrad, at least, I felt, and this goes back to my other tip, it's nothing like undergrad. In undergrad, when it came to academics, I pretty much just did it all on my own. I never needed classmates. I would do group projects if I was forced to, but I really didn't need classmates. I didn't need help. I just did it all on my own and it went fine. if I missed a class and like didn't get the notes, honestly, it wasn't that big of a deal. Like I still did okay on the final. I would just do the reading, and what was said in class was pretty much verbatim what was in the reading. So I would just, you know, catch up that way. Law school's not like that. In law school, I found the hard way that you really do need friends. You know, and for a myriad of reasons, you need notes if you're sick, because what's said in class is very different than what is in your reading. I mean, now with Zoom, my professors have all recorded their lectures since we went to Zoom, but I think my school's going back in person next year. I'm sure a lot of schools are heading that direction, and they don't record the classes. So you'll need friends just to give you notes, but you just need people to lean on. Law school is just so much harder than undergrad, high school, any of that. And you just need people to make the experience bearable. And if you have good friends in other areas of your life, that's awesome, like keep them around, but they're just not gonna understand exactly what's going on. And to have friends who are going through it with you is invaluable, and you'll really need them. And I wish I had known that before law school, because I would have started the day I got there just trying to meet people, and not everyone's gonna become your friend. And there's probably a little bit of trial and error in that sense, but I just wish I had started sooner and really made an effort to get to know people, because I didn't, and I'm lucky I found the friends that I did, but it's really tough. And you need people who are going through it with you, and you can help each other, you can complain to each other, you guys can just, I don't know, it's, I wasn't expecting that part of law school. I didn't really think, because like I said, I did undergrad pretty much on my own when it came to academics, and that really didn't work in law school, and I feel like I kind of learned that the hard way. And you'll also need to be friends with upperclassmen too, like people who are able to get outlines from alumni or upperclassmen or anything like that. They are at an advantage, and if you don't have upperclassmen that you know or alumni or something like that, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage. So, you know, even in terms of grades. So I just wish that I had I wish I had put more effort into that and sort of done it from the beginning. Yeah, so if you're starting law school, or if you're in law school, there's still time. See if you can get to know people. Like, just try to talk to the people who sit next to you in class, or join student organizations or anything like that, because those people, you never know where you can find someone who will actually become a good friend. And those friends are just truly the most valuable resources I have found in law school, honestly. Well, them and some really good professors I've had, but you need people. So don't be afraid, do better than I did, and make some friends. They're really, truly your most valuable resource in law school, and I wish I had done a better job. Okay, so that's that. Those are the 5 things that I wish I knew before I started law school. If you guys are heading into law school in the fall, or you're already in law school and haven't learned these lessons the hard way like I did, hopefully this video provided some guidance for you. And with that, I will see you guys in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye, you guys.